Hello everybody, I'm coming to you live today to talk about the issue of what are you trying to prove? What are you actually trying to prove in terms of your own sense of getting affirmation and validation for your decisions, for your actions, and how that might actually sometimes be counterproductive. I'm Valerie Ling. I'm a clinical psychologist, also the director and founder of the Center for Effective Living. So I don't know if you've got this update on your Facebook app. On my Facebook app, I noticed yesterday that there is a new feature in my status update which allows me to post a list of a few different things. They could be a list of the countries that you want to visit. There could be a list of, I don't know, things that you want to most do, what's on your bucket list. And I was playing around with a list called What Have You Got Planned for the Weekend? And literally, I thought to myself, oh, something new. Let's just give this a go. What on earth is this new list function? And I chose to do the what it is you've got planned for your weekend. Now, it just so happens that over the weekend, I was doing a lot of hiding. So I pretty much put a list of situations and circumstances that I was hiding from. That was my plan for the weekend. I really just wanted to have a rather private and, excuse me, private time and some alone time, if you like. Now, I did not mean to cause alarm, but I might have caused some alarm because what then ensued was some people who actually responded and replied and said and asked me if I was okay. And of course I got it. At that point I realized, they've actually tapped into something that I wasn't intending to get anybody concerned. However, it's a common thing. We associate hiding with perhaps an emotion, with some negative emotion states. For example, you might think that someone is hiding because they're actually really having a tough time and they just can't face the world. Or you might find that you're hiding because you actually feel a sense of shame. Maybe you don't want, excuse me, to be out in the public eye because you're not feeling so great about yourself and you actually want to hide out of shame. Or maybe you're hiding because of a conflict. You don't want to have to face someone. You don't have to come out and, face the person. Well, it got me thinking about what I was going to do. And now that I had put it out there that I was hiding, do I write my thesis and essay to explain things? Do I feel completely embarrassed that I've worried a whole bunch of people? Or do I actually just take a moment just to reflect on why it is? Well, first of all, to make sure that I wasn't hiding because of any of those other things. And secondly, to authentically connect with my friends who were concerned for me. Which got me reflecting about, excuse me, hiding when we're actually afraid of the way that we're going to be perceived, right? When we're actually feeling vulnerable to the point where we think, I don't want anybody else to peer in. I'm afraid that they're going to make some comment on the way that I'm doing things, or they're going to misunderstand my intent and my motives. Or maybe I'm already feeling so fragile on the inside that if one more person were to criticize or suggest an alternative, I might just crumble. That sort of hiding, yeah. And one of the things that I have no idea whether there's an actual theoretical or psychological framework for this. My learned colleagues, you might be able to point me in the right direction. But one of the things that I've been pondering is this idea that we expect other people to actually have 100% empathy and understanding of our own headspace. In other words, we assume that people can see right through us, that they can actually read our thoughts, and I think I just worked out what the psychological thing is, and I'll tell you what I think it is, that they can actually read our thoughts and our intentions and see right through us, and that because we're not sure ourselves of how we're going to be perceived, that they therefore are going to judge us. Well, I believe what I'm actually tapping into is the idea of mind reading, the idea, a thinking error or a thinking heuristic that we have, where we actually believe that other people can actually read what's going on in our mind. And therefore, if they can read 100% what's going on in our mind, A, they can anticipate what we need, but also B, they're going to evaluate and judge us somehow based on what they read. Well, the reality is nobody can read our minds. We can only offer people what we are prepared to and what we feel safe to offer people. People can't actually read minds. I can't read minds. And the other thing I was pondering too is that it's impossible to have 100% empathy unless you've actually been through the same situations as somebody else have. Now, empathy is obviously something we can cultivate. We can actually learn to really listen into someone's situation and to feel the things that they're feeling. However, we're never going to find someone that's 100% experienced exactly the things that we have experienced. And that's okay. We don't have to feel intimidated or vulnerable or out of control because of that situation. And equally, we don't need to feel the need to justify our thoughts and actions. We can actually be content that our own thoughts and our own feelings are valid, and they're enough. They are enough. So that's my little reflection piece on thinking about hiding, that perhaps hiding can also relate to a feeling of not wanting other people to see what we're actually thinking and feeling, but acknowledging that people won't be able to see that. We have the ability to offer that information whether we want to or not, and who we offer that information to is important. You want to share those things and self-disclose to the people that you trust, and you have the highest amount of evidence that they are actually going to treat what you have to think and say and feel with respect and sensitivity. Okay, go easy today, everybody. It's autumn weather, and so oftentimes the way the weather appears can also impact the way that we think and feel. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. I'll catch you soon.